The record of freedom of the press in India has been laudable with the exception of emergency era in 1975 to 1977. Indian constitution does not specifically mention freedom of the press, but freedom of expression under Article 19 clause 2 has been interpreted by the courts to include freedom of the press. All the same, the freedom of press does not mean a license. It is subject to reasonable restrictions in the interest of the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, and public order. Our newspapers are protected against action in the courts for publishing the proceedings of Parliament. There are many acts to protect freedom of the press. However, there is no law that restrains the press from publishing information which may be considered as an invasion of the privacy of private citizens. Indian newspapers generally recognize citizens' right to privacy. Then there is the Press Council of India that was established in 1966. It looks after preserving the freedom of the press and raising standard of newspapers, magazines and news agencies by developing a code of conduct. But electronic media does not come under the purview of the Press Council of India. The government is expected to limit its freedom in due course of time. The press is the fourth estate of any democracy in the world. Free press is a reflection of public opinion and also the plans, policies and programs of the government. Press is like a barometer. It shows the rise and fall of the fortunes of the ruling class. No doubt, free press builds the bridges of understanding between the people and the government. The press is supposed to expose the misdeeds of the government through fearless and impartial expression. The press should not play in the hands of a particular political party to reap financial benefits. It is often seen that press has lost its credibility just as judiciary has lost its credibility in the eye of the public. It is charged against the press that they plant stories to destabilize a government at the behest of opposition parties. Even the press is alleged to be playing in the hands of foreign countries. If freedom is a breath of healthy press, a healthy press is a basis of a healthy democracy. The days are gone when a newspaper would force a corrupt minister to resign overnight. The newspaper of today are willing tools. They join in chorus to defame a person who dare to point at the dishonest dealing of the government. They are no more voice of the people. On most of the national problems, they spread misinformation among the people. They seem to conceal more than expose when it comes to the powers that matters. A few newspapers and channels have taken upon themselves to see that the opposition parties should be represented in unfavorable light. Each appears to be the member of some families of the government in power. They never question the apparent motivated investigations of the premier agencies. Electronic media has entered the bedrooms of the people. Trial by media is at once a function of an accuser, a prosecutor, and a judge. The victim dies a social death long before the decision of the court. The general perception of the people is that the fourth pillar of democracy alone is preventing the government from sagging. Our press is not only free but enjoy license to write arrogantly advising the ruling party how to win elections. This is not journalism, enlightened, corrective and informative. Apart from the editorial, we read for views of the press. Their headlines and bylines exhibit most kind of prejudiced reports. We do not have illustrious journalists of the past, free, frank and fearless. Freedom of press should not be considered as a license to write and say anything against anybody. A free press is supposed to provide free flow of knowledge. Even a free press is supposed to have its code of ethics and conduct. They must not act against the national interest. It is misconstrued that press is omnipotent. It must not indulge in witch hunting. Instead, it should provide free and impartial knowledge and healthy criticism of the activities of politicians. It must not indulge in YOLO journalism and character assassination. The role of Indian press has been praiseworthy, and it has done a remarkable job in exposing scams and scandals in defense and other deals. But the dubious kind of journalism, such as Tehalka, erodes the credibility of the press. With the advent of cable TV and foreign channels, citizens must be vigilant to see through the designs of the reporters and quality of reporting. Just as press needs to be vigilant, the public should also be discriminatory in analyzing the truthfulness of the news or otherwise. An enlightened readership is the greatest restraint on misrepresentation of the facts by the information media.